This story is titled, My Boss Used Me to Cover Up His Mistakes When I Found Out I Blew the Whistle and Exposed Him. I always believed that hard work and loyalty would get you far in life. My name is Lauren, I'm 34, and I work in corporate America. Well, I did, until this happened. For years, I climbed the ladder at a mid-sized marketing firm, pouring my heart into every project, staying late, and taking on responsibilities that weren't even mine. I loved my job, or at least I thought I did, until everything came crashing down. It started with my boss, Tom. On the surface, Tom was the kind of leader everyone wanted, charismatic, approachable, and full of big ideas. He had a way of making you feel like you were the most important person in the room, like your contributions mattered. But beneath the charm, there was something darker, something I didn't see until it was too late. The first red flag appeared about a year ago, during a major client pitch. I had worked tirelessly on the campaign, crafting every detail with precision. But when Tom presented it to the client, he took all the credit. At first, I brushed it off, thinking maybe he just forgot to mention me. It's not a big deal. But then it happened again. And again. Tom had a pattern of claiming other people's work as his own. I wasn't the only one he did this to, but I was one of the few willing to confront him about it. Tom, I said one afternoon, trying to keep my tone neutral, I noticed my name wasn't mentioned in the last pitch. I spent weeks on that campaign. He waved me off with a smile. Lauren, you're part of the team. When I win, we all win. Don't sweat the small stuff. It didn't sit right with me, but I convinced myself to let it go. After all, I didn't want to jeopardize my position. Things took a darker turn 6 months later when the firm landed a high-profile account. It was the kind of client that could make or break our reputation, and Tom insisted on being personally involved in every aspect of the campaign. At first, I was flattered when he assigned me as his second-in-command. He said he trusted me, that he valued my attention to detail. What I didn't realize was that I wasn't his second-in-command. I was his scapegoat. As the project progressed, I noticed discrepancies in the budget reports. Expenses weren't adding up, and certain invoices were missing. When I brought it to Tom's attention, he dismissed it with a laugh. Lauren, you worry too much. It's just accounting errors. Focus on the creative side. That's what you're good at. But the discrepancies kept piling up. Vendors started calling, asking about late payments. One even threatened to pull out of the project altogether. I started digging, going through the records late at night after everyone had left. What I found made my stomach drop. Tom had been funneling money from the project's budget into other areas of the company, areas that were failing under his leadership. I confronted him the next morning, hoping there was some kind of explanation. Tom, I found these invoices. Why are funds being redirected without approval? His demeanor changed in an instant. The friendly, approachable boss was gone, replaced by someone cold and calculating. Lauren, he said, his voice low, you don't understand how this industry works. Sometimes we have to make tough decisions to keep the lights on. Just stick to your role and leave the big picture to me. I knew then that he wasn't just careless. He was deliberate. The breaking point came when the project fell behind schedule, and Tom pinned the blame squarely on me. He called an emergency meeting with the senior leadership team and painted a picture of me as disorganized, overwhelmed, and incapable of handling the responsibility. Lauren has been struggling to manage the workload, he said, his tone dripping with false concern. We're working together to get her back on track. I sat there, stunned, as my colleagues looked at me with a mix of pity and disappointment. I wanted to scream, to tell them the truth, but I knew I needed more than words. I needed evidence. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to let Tom ruin my career to cover up his mistakes. I started gathering everything I could, emails, budget reports, and vendor complaints. I even recorded a conversation where he admitted to shifting funds without authorization. Once I had enough, I filed a formal complaint with HR. But I didn't stop there. I reached out to the client whose project Tom had been sabotaging and shared the truth. The fallout was immediate. The client pulled their account, HR launched an internal investigation, and Tom was put on leave. Fallout from my decision to expose Tom was both swift and chaotic. The investigation uncovered a web of mismanagement and dishonesty that went far beyond the project I had worked on. Tom had been manipulating budgets and taking credit for others' work for years. The company's leadership was stunned. The man they had trusted to lead had been actively undermining their success. But exposing him wasn't the end of the story. In many ways, it was just the beginning. As the news spread through the office, the atmosphere changed. Some of my coworkers were supportive, praising me for my courage. Others avoided me, clearly uncomfortable with the attention I had drawn to the company. Whistleblowers don't always get a hero's welcome, and I quickly learned that standing up for what's right can come with a price. HR scheduled a meeting with me to discuss the next steps. They assured me that I had done the right thing, and thanked me for bringing the issue to their attention. "Lauren," they said, "your integrity has saved this company from further damage. We want to ensure you feel supported moving forward." It was a kind sentiment, but it didn't erase the unease I felt. Trusting the system to protect me had been a gamble, and I wasn't sure how things would play out. Tom's dismissal was finalized within weeks. The official statement cited gross misconduct, but everyone knew the truth. The clients who had been affected by his actions were furious, and the firm had to work overtime to repair the damage. In the midst of it all, I found myself reflecting on how easily things could have gone differently. If I hadn't spoken up, Tom would have continued his pattern, and countless others would have suffered for it. With Tom gone, I had a chance to rebuild my reputation. Leadership asked me to step in as the interim project manager to finish the high-profile account. It was an opportunity to prove my worth, not just to them, but to myself. I threw myself into the project, determined to show what I was capable of without someone like Tom overshadowing me. It wasn't easy. There were still lingering doubts from some colleagues who weren't sure if they could trust me after everything that had happened. But day by day, I earned their respect. I brought the project back on track, mended relationships with vendors, and even found ways to improve the campaign's original strategy. One day, as the project neared completion, the CEO of the company called me into his office. "Lauren," he said, "I want to thank you for your bravery. What you did wasn't easy, but it was necessary. You've proven yourself to be a leader, and we'd like to offer you the position of project director." I was stunned. For years, I had worked tirelessly in the shadows, never expecting to be recognized in such a significant way. "Thank you," I said, my voice steady despite the emotions swirling inside me. "I won't let you down." Accepting the promotion felt like a triumph, but it also came with a lesson I would carry with me for the rest of my career. Integrity matters, even when it feels like the world is against you. Speaking up is never easy, especially when you're up against someone more powerful. But the truth has a way of coming to light, and standing up for it is always worth it. Months later, I received a message from one of my former colleagues, someone who had been hesitant to support me during the fallout. "Lauren," it read, "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for not standing by you when everything went down. You were right, and I should have had your back. Thank you for doing what the rest of us were too afraid to do." Reading those words brought tears to my eyes. It reminded me that courage can inspire others, even if they don't show it right away. Today I'm thriving in my new role. The team I lead is strong, supportive, and collaborative, a far cry from the toxic environment Tom had created. Our firm has regained the trust of our clients, and we're on a path of growth and innovation. As for Tom, I don't know where he is now, and honestly, I don't care. What matters is that I reclaimed my career and my confidence. I'm no longer afraid to speak up or stand my ground, no matter how high the stakes. This story isn't just about exposing a corrupt boss. It's about finding your voice and using it even when it shakes. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone diminish it. Thank you for listening to my story. My boss used me to cover up his mistakes. When I found out, I blew the whistle and exposed him. If this story inspired you, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Share this video with someone who might need a reminder that standing up for what's right is always worth it, even when it's hard. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, your voice matters, and the truth is always worth fighting for.